Okay, let's start the KubeBuilder triage meeting. Today is 26th of January 2021. So don't say nothing that you feel comfortable to be in the internet for the posterity. So let's see the first one. I think I doesn't know if the author is here. I don't think so. So allow ever command to overwrite the project configured plugins. I didn't saw this before, so I will check this with you folks as well. If someone has some input, please feel free. When it's all
I haven't looked over this before. I would probably have to take a minute and actually read through this.
yeah, I think it's too big. Let's move on. And let's put it as for the Angie. Ejiro usually attends the meeting. If he not, we can spend more time to try to process this one as well. Okay. Okay. This one is just to create a new branch.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I think it's fine, but I'm not sure if I got it instead of merging, because today we have this one. So the problem here is just to have a better name, I believe.
It's because the release tools expect a certain format for the branch name, which is release hyphen major version, and v2 is incorrect.
Oh, okay. So specific. I think we can put help you wanted by sure, unless someone has some objection. Okay. Regards the milestone, do you think this is a priority? I think we can put in next.
I don't know if this is appropriate for a milestone necessarily, just because it's not supposed to be. It's not going to go into a release. This is like a tools thing. So maybe just leave this out of a milestone for now.
Yeah, the next has the goal of the documentation, infra, all things like that.
Okay. Then next.
Someone would like to take this one? I think I can take this one anyway. It's very simple. Okay, so to do this one, we just need to confirm if everything is the master, and then we can delete. I agree that it has no need anymore to keep the branch. Any objections?
Sure.
Accept. I put a cheese for me as well. Simple. So this one is just to move. We have two brands. I understand that. I believe you work more with that. So we have one branch to release the binaries and the other for the image now. So the idea is put everything in this branch. What do you think, Eric? Have you an objection to that?
No, I think that would be a good idea. Well, let me think for
Okay.
a sec. I think on the face of it, yeah, that's probably a good idea. But the tools releases branch should be moved to controller runtime eventually, because controller runtime requires these mtest binaries. I think we've talked about this a few times. But in the interim, we could probably move it to KubeBuilder release tools.
I think it'll be easy to keep maintaining so far, at least. Someone would you like to take this one? I no. So you move forward. If you someone would like to work on this, please feel free.
I think the problem is that a lot of these issues are infrastructure issues, and you need admin permissions in both repos to do this. So as of right now, I think only Sully and Philip are able to do these things.
To move, I think we can do the pull requests and then just remove the brands, ask help. From the
Well,
KubeBuilder icon,
the branches need to be created first before we can do any pull requests in any repos, and then an
this
admin
one.
needs to delete. Yeah, and an admin needs to be able to create those. So I think some like these particular infrastructure issues, we can ping Solly and Philip about this and just leave them alone and leave them unassigned, I should say.
Doesn't know. Do you know what is his nickname?
P Whitrock, PW.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, and this other app, I don't have a permission as well, just in the KubeBuilder one. Okay, the next one.
So I think the idea here is if you are writing a bunch of files to disk, and in one of those files, not at the end of the execution um, of scaffolding fails, then you're left in an inconsistent state on disk and the user has to do some cleanup. So I believe what this is proposing is, before actually writing anything to disk, you generate all these files in memory, and you run a few checks to make sure that you can actually write these files. So you make sure that based on the create action, you can either skip the writing the file, or you generate an error if that file already exists. Once you've run through all those checks, then you write all of those files to disk in one go, and you already know that you can write them to disk, so there won't be any inconsistencies. It seems like it's akin to a database transaction, where if something bad happens, then you can roll back. And I think this is a great effort,
Yeah,
because there are certain times when, yeah, you try and run a command, it fails, and as a user, you're left with like a bunch of files that you don't know how to clean up,
I
unless you
agree.
have Git already going and you haven't made any other changes.
I agree. I agree with that as well. I doesn't know about the performance and how will you do you know do that like if it would possible, do you know how you will inform what are the files to be checked if we can do something generic enough uh, or we will need to implement it in all places, you know.
Is this for the entire set of plugins or just like one?
This is for the scaffolding machinery that's
Yeah,
present for KubeBuilder plugins. And actually, I think this is exported as well. So it would be available to any developer of a plugin.
yeah, for all commands. So for each command, we would need to do these checks, uh, and we would need to know exactly what the files should be scaffolded before. I'm okay with that. Doesn't know exactly how the implementation would be in place. Unless be a lot of effort to implement each new command, do you know? You'll be okay with that. What do you think about triage accept and help wanted?
Does it need a proposal? Is that a flag or label?
Doesn't have a label, but we can put it here.
Well, I don't know if this is enough or not. If it is, then it's fine.
Yeah, I think he has a lot of information, but it's still not clear for me how it would be at the end. So a proposal, I think it fits well as well. Um, or a pull request with the solution in place, if it's not hard enough, because probably the author has something in mind how to solve that.
Okay,
What do you think?
I'm fine with that.
to move forward. What do you think? It's fine. We can put as well. We have needs more information, I think. Maybe it's more appropriated than accept.
Either one was fine to me.
So let's move on. This one is very simple. This user asking the channel for we have a banner because now we have. Let's see if I can open here. We have the documentation in master branch, and we have the legacy one. And for when 3.0 be stable, and we release the stable release, we will have V1, V2, and master that will be related to V3. So the user would like to have a banner here because it's not clear enough that it is documentation slide little bit not outdated. You say in this case it's outdated because V1 is no longer supported. So some message that you describe that V1 is no longer supported and the user should move forward. And probably for V2 that we don't have now, it's master. When we release the next version, we have some information saying that that is related to V2 and the other one is related to V3. So for me, it shows reasonable. Has someone something, some reason for we object to that, or can you put a Triage accept? Silence. So I'll put a Triage accept. For the milestones, what do you think, folks? Do you think that it would be nice as a goal for 3.1 to make it clear the versions of the documentations?
Yeah, based on the last two comments, I would say the further out, the better.
Yeah.
3.1 is probably a good target.
This one is a bug. We have one issue in SDK side that motivates when we do a change in KubeBuilder. When we init a project, we doesn't allow more the init occurs if in the directory has other directories or other files, because we cannot ensure that the tool will be able to do the scaffold properly. We found some users doing things that cause problems, and it was a little bit problematic. So we add this rule, like the command can work just if he has a go mod or the file starts with a dot because he git commands, things like that. And we have a pull request about it. So I think it's fine. I will put Triage accept. Also, milestone, I believe that 3.1 is fine as well, unless someone has an objection. Shows a simple bug, has a PR of it. And that's this one is more to track a need. In the master branch, we did some modifications in the how the things works in the internal code. And before this change, the resource structure had a function to create a new resource and a function to validate the resource that was created. Now it doesn't exist anymore in the master branch, and its implementation is in a file in a structure that calls options and is specific for Golang. So how we consume KubeBuilder? KubeBuilder can be used by other projects such as SDK. We need that SDK be able to create a resource and validate the resource, not exactly specific for Go, because we use it is for Ansible and Helm, and other projects could use it for any other language as well. So this is more something like to fix the structure and move the things around. We have a pull request already, and it basically is that I can indeed show here. So has the validate for we be able to use and the new source as well. So we can now it's options, but it is would be moved for when we create the resource. For instance, for example, can use a new plugin resource, new resource and plugin with a resource and validation directly. And note is options that is specific for Go. But we check the rules according to KubeBuilder.
So this is moving. Sorry, I'm not completely familiar with the code, but it sounds like the old way there was an options structure that was filled in by the command line. It would take those values, it would do the validation from the CLI portion, but also for those specific items as well. So it did both. And this is breaking it apart so that CLI validation is done. And then you've got resource validation, which is slightly separate. Is that what,
Yeah,
did I describe that right? Okay.
yeah, more or less.
That sounds better.
Yeah, because before we had the resource here and we had our options here that was used for the flags, and it is was changed. And now if we came here, plugins, we have a specific option for the Golang. Just to show that it has the validation and we need like I want a new resource from KubeBuilder rules and following all rules that is valid for KubeBuilder because the resource is something defined in KubeBuilder, and I want to validate this resource. So yeah, it's just like as you said, to just clean up, fix a design change. Yeah.
Cool.
And you really think? Okay. I think we finished. We have just the first one.
So this is back to the first one, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
so
we
I
need.
just read it, and my understanding is it sounded like the description says that if I run a command with dash dash plugin, that they want it so that it uses that plugin as an override versus whatever's configured in the config file for that particular run. And it's typical of flags to me to usually be used for overriding things. So if I had a command line and I gave it a flag, I usually expect it to use that flag regardless of what else is there. That's at least that's what it says on that last paragraph.
Yeah. But I see a problem with that because, okay, I put my point of view. I think
The one thing that came to my mind was that if my project is configured with plugins A and B, and I give you dash dash plugin C, does that mean it only uses C, or it uses A and B and C? It was a little confusing.
exactly. Yeah, for me,
I mean,
I didn't get the motivation as well, because if you will be able to override this value, how we know what was the layout usage at the first time to scaffold the project? Because the idea is we have in the project config tracked everything that was done, you know, for we are able to troubleshoot, for we are able to recreate the project in the future, uh, things like that. So what would be the use case that would
I
be
don't know.
required as well? Uh, I
It
think,
might be whatever I think the second paragraph was trying to describe what the motivation was. Oh no, maybe it's the one that says, let's say that we create a plugin that modifies controller.go file to insert inside the reconcile function some scaffold code, and or may want to use this plugin for some of the controllers generated in the project, but not all of them.
for me, it's still not very clear. What do you think about we leave it as one? Because Adilio usually is here. We can ping him and
We
try.
can leave it for another time to discuss,
Yeah,
or we could bring it up on Thursday if we want.
yeah.
I think Thursday's the actual meeting, the community meeting, and have that discussion if we want. I mean, I see the point of being able to override the actual plugins for that particular run. I can see that being useful, but it opens up questions that I don't know the answers to.
I'll put here. Yeah, for me, it's not very clear the use case to override. Like, okay, you want to customize the project, so you override the plugins, but then should not you just use another plugin on top?
Say that last one again. Sorry.
Because if I understood, the motivation would be like, I scaffold something with a plugin A, then I want to use a plugin B, so I can override the config of A. But should we allow that, or should I use a B and just track that I use A and B?
I think it means the way I read it was if you passed in command dash dash plugin B, if you started with A and your project file says A, and then you pass in plugin B for this particular command, it sounded like they want B to be used for that run of the command, not update the project file. It's almost like you have no track that you did B. That's what it sounded like. I may have misread that, but it sounds like I want to have the ability to override this one command, use this plugin, because I want something specific to happen.
Let's see. I can't. Are you okay with this as well? Anyone has an objection? I will put this one. So, and let's see. Here has a investment proposal. I didn't saw that before. This one is something that we need to check further. I think it's not possible to check now. You'll need to read everything to have a better idea. Indeed. I saw that it has a proposal, so oh no. I will remove this one because it has a proposal. I think we need to check it is better and see the proposal, and then we can give you a better position about this one. I think we can leave it without labels and come back in the next meeting. Probably Ajiri will be here as well. And if we not discuss it enough in the issue, he will be able to put his position and his motivations for that as well. Explain better. Any objection? What do you think, folks?
Sorry, it cut off the last thing you asked before you said folks.
Any suggestion? It's fine. I am removing my comment because now I saw that it has a proposal here. So I think we need to read this better and check the proposal and maybe make the questions aqui. And you don't label it all.
I would not accept it yet. I would say we read the proposal and maybe we can ask questions on Thursday.
Yeah. So it's okay. I think we can check the release for the next release. For the next release, we actually have 3 things. One of them, it's make the project version stable. And we actually, it's not linked here, but we actually have a pull request that I'd like to show. I did omit this one. So in this pull request, all missing fields that was required that we agreed before to put in the project file will be now tracked. I can show in the test data here. So if he has a controller, the details of the API, the path, the domain. So folks, it would be nice if you get your help to check this one. The other thing that this pull request is doing is making the project version 3 alpha to a stable one. And then after that, the only thing that we need to do is finish the migration doc. Has a pull request that I open, but probably you require changes after that as well. And then I think we are done. We are good for the next release. Someone would you like to put something, say something about that, or raise some concern or raise some issue that should be added here for the next release, for you make a stable version for the 3.0.
Nothing from me.
So, and this one is just to create the book EV3 branch that we have already. So when we finish merge the migration guides, we can just push the change for this one and make the full documentation looking for this branch instead after the release. So it's just that. So I think we are done. Really thank you for your help. Really thank you for your collaboration, folks. See you.
Thank you so much for leading this.
Thank you for the
Yeah,
patience,
thanks, Kamal.
for my confused mind today. Thank you.
You did great.
All right.
See ya.
See ya.
See